And welcome back to In Focus. We just heard from Senator Teresa Gavarone on House Bill 458. Now we are checking in with a group in Ohio who opposes this bill. Here to tell us why is Deacon Nick Bates with Hunger Network Ohio, a partner of the organization Faith in Public Life. Nick, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Not only opposing 458, but also 294, which was a few weeks before that, which would cut early voting, less drop boxes, eliminate curbside voting. Your whole goal, correct me if I'm wrong, is simply to make voting as easy as possible. So
yeah,
you take issue with some of these things.
Yeah. So as people of faith, we are called to love our neighbor. Most faith traditions kind of have that as a core tenet. And one of the things with that, the way we love people is by listening to them, hearing what people have to say, especially those who might not otherwise be heard in our communities. Some people can go out and buy big billboards across the street from the State House or rent a plane and fly a banner across, those shoe during a Buckeye game to let people know what they think. But so many of us only have an opportunity to share our thoughts and opinions on things during an election and through the power of our vote.
Some say if it's made too easy, that it is easier to cheat or fraud the system. Agree or not?
So I think we all want to have integrity in our election system. We want to make sure that people who are registered to vote can show up, cast their ballot, not have, super long lines, people don't want to be waiting 2 or 3 hours to cast their ballot. And then everybody wants to make sure that those votes are secured and counted and treated equitably and fairly. And that is already occurring in Ohio. Report after report after report. Statements from the governor, from the Secretary of State have continuously said, we have a good, secure election system already in Ohio.
The governor has said those exact words. Our election system is relatively problem-free here in Ohio. The Secretary of State has said the same thing. So I think your main question is, so why change anything?
Yeah. And, and I remember back during that 2004 election, I was out doing election protection work, documenting stories from folks who were waiting those 3-4 hours in line, people who tried to figure out how to vote absentee and couldn't do it. We've made a lot of progress since 2004 in Ohio in helping to strengthen our election integrity, because part of an election with integrity means that all voices and votes are counted and all people that are registered have access to the ballot.
Is voter fraud really happening to any degree at all? I know you don't have scientific proof of this, but do you think it's really going on?
I have been out at the polls. I have served as an election worker. I'm talking to countless number of food pantries and faith leaders across the state, and I haven't seen it.
Having said that, photo ID. Yeah. You've heard this debate for years. What's wrong with that? Does it really discriminate against anyone that's even if we're giving free photo IDs? So
that's an important thing. There's the cost of the physical card. But then one of the big things that we experience with anti-poverty work in the church is there's also this cost of time. So when you have low-income folks, you have a senior citizen who's taking the bus to the grocery store and then taking the bus to drop her kids off at daycare, or her grandkids off at daycare, that she's helping to raise, and all of these things, then there's that time cost of her having to plan out long enough before the election, go down, get her photo ID. Even if the state is covering the cost of the card, there's that lost work hours and time with family that's going to happen. And in some estimates in Ohio, there's about 800,000 people that don't have photo IDs right now, who are eligible to vote but don't have those IDs.
Is that poor and elderly for the most part?
Poor folks, elderly students. So when we're trying to encourage young folks to engage in the electoral process, to make sure their voices are heard as part of that maturing process, a lot of them aren't driving. They haven't gone out and got those IDs yet. So there are all these different populations that are going to be disproportionately impacted by this proposal.
One might argue that poor and elderly, who knows what party they're from. But do you feel like these changes in election laws is an effort to suppress the Democrat side of the vote? Do you feel that way?
I have heard that, and there's data and statistics that bear that out in some regards. However, there are senior citizens and when we really look at our local elections, and school board races and city council and township trustee.
Right.
These races often come down to people that people know. And it's much less about a D or an R behind the person's name. It's more about, hey, this person has been on my church council for the past 12 years, and they've done a really good job with fiscal oversight of our congregation. Yeah, I'd love for them to also be, a county commissioner. So it's, and that's not a partisan issue, because as Americans, I think we all need to prioritize making sure that all votes are heard.
Well, we've talked a lot in this show about the different changes that are proposed. Yeah. Are you of the mindset that the current elections laws here in Ohio are satisfactory to you, or do you even want those changed?
I think they're pretty decent right now. And one of the things I love about being in the church is we can always dream about the perfect or the ultimate goal, right? Even if it's far in the future. So there are certain things I would love to see. I hate paperwork. I don't know anybody who likes extra paperwork for the sake of paperwork. In other states, we have seen automatic voter registration come online, and it's worked. It's been effective, reducing that bureaucracy and that paperwork and that time. So, looking at things like that in Ohio. Another big one that we see, especially in some of our food pantries and low-income ministries serving people who are marginally housed, is absentee ballot request forms. Mm-hmm. Right now, we can register to vote online in Ohio, but we can't request that absentee ballot online. So being able to go in and do that online, because a lot of people don't have printers at home. And so it just creates an extra barrier to actually go and print out a form to do that work.
Deacon Nick Bates, we appreciate your time today.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much. With the, I should mention, with the Hunger Network Ohio. Thank you for your work that you do there as well.